The Bentonville City Council, remembered last week, decided to double water rates because of rising cost as well as water leaks. Well, now 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer tells us some residents who didn't like the idea have started a petition to get it repealed.
I've seen it change certainly a lot in the almost 30 years I've been here, from just a couple of small barn towns to the big community that we have here today.
Longtime Bentonville resident Kyle Miller says it's like seeing his money go down the drain with rates now doubling in the city.
For like a first-time homeowner like myself, a doubling of a utility bill is not something small that isn't going to be unnoticed.
It's why he created a petition to try and reverse the increase.
For it to be 100% without a lot of justification or the transparency with it, I think that's unacceptable, and I think a lot of people in Bentonville do too.
He says the sudden rate hike is unfair and could bring harm to the local economy as well as low-income families. Bentonville Mayor Stephanie Orman said after the vote last week they had to make a hard decision, but ultimately it was needed.
We have several things that we need to look at, but we really needed to keep the funding coming to go after the leaks. We've made a commitment to looking at our rates annually and really understanding our system. And if we can bring rates down at some point, we certainly want to be able to do that.
And Miller says he's hoping the signatures will encourage the city to look at other avenues.
I would absolutely love to bring this to City Council and say, hey, this percent of the population doesn't think what you did is okay, and we need to start taking some actions to reverse this vote, or at least reconsider, a gradual increase.
In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Those rates, by the way, are set to start in April. Well, the list of candidates for Fort Smith school superintendent now down to 3. They include 2 people from Fort Smith. Current Deputy Fort Smith Superintendent Marty Mahan and former Southside High School teacher Ann Markfield made the cut. Markfield right now is the assistant superintendent in Pea Ridge. An assistant superintendent in Conway is the 3rd candidate. 20 people applied for the job, and the firm that conducted the search told the school board tonight that is an impressive number.
Get 20 applications in the time frame that we had is very good, folks. Because I will tell you that we've had much longer searches with other districts where we've had 10 or 12 applications. It just kind of depends. You never know.
The 3 finalists will all go through the interview process with a school board in early April. Right now, a cyclist in Bentonville is in the hospital after a crash today. It happened just before noon near 14th and P Street. Person on the bicycle was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police say they are still investigating. A Fort Smith pizza shop, meanwhile, rallying behind one of its own. Vinnie's Pies is hosting a benefit for 19-year-old Vaughn, who is recovering from a serious motorcycle accident. Benefit today featured $1 slices, and they're also taking donations to help Vaughn and his family through his recovery. Staff and customers say they also wanted to spend time today celebrating in his spirit because he is like family to them.
He means a lot to me. I just moved here too, and he's like one of the only people I was able to connect with and relate with and share things to, and I really only had him here, so.
That fundraiser wrapped up just a few hours ago, but donations are still being accepted online through the GoFundMe page. You can find the link to that page on our website at 5newsonline.com. Developing tonight, the Vatican says Pope Francis's condition continues to improve. It released a statement today saying that he is no longer needing to use a ventilator to help him breathe. 88-year-old has been hospitalized since mid-February as he recovers from double pneumonia. The Vatican says his pneumonia infection, while not completely gone, is under control. Today also marks the 12th anniversary of Francis's installation as Pope. Measles outbreak that began in Texas in late January continues to grow. As of this week, U.S. health officials say they have confirmed 321 cases. The outbreak now spans 3 states, Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, where the first case was confirmed this month. Health officials say the vast majority of cases have been in people who are not vaccinated. The outbreak has led to several questions about disease prevention and treatment. Recently, vitamin A has been floated as a treatment for the measles, but is that the truth? Here's Stephen Goins to verify.
Just last week, newly appointed U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made a television appearance where he claimed in part that doctors have treated measles patients with cod liver oil, which contains high amounts of vitamin A. So, is vitamin A used in measles treatment? Let's verify. Our sources are the World Health Organization, the Centers for Disease Control, Memorial Hermann, and the Baylor College of Medicine. First, according to the World Health Organization, complications are common in malnourished children, especially for those low in vitamin A. So the WHO does recommend vitamin A supplementation primarily to help prevent those complications. According to the CDC, vitamin A may be administered to infants and children with measles under the supervision of a healthcare provider. But CDC officials stress it's no substitute for vaccination. They also warn that overuse of vitamin A can be toxic. Dr. Linda Yancey is an infectious disease specialist with Memorial Hermann.
Vitamin A is given to children with vitamin deficiencies in resource-poor settings to somewhat speed recovery from measles. It does not treat measles. It does not prevent measles.
Dr. Jill Weatherhead is an associate professor at the Baylor College of Medicine. She says this about vitamin A.
It's helping your immune response react to the measles virus, but it is not an antiviral medication. It also helps maintain the mucosal barrier of your lungs and of your intestines, which is damaged because of measles infection.
So the claim vitamin A is used in measles treatment needs context. While it can be effective as part of an overall medical care plan, it does not directly fight the measles virus, nor does it prevent infection or do the job of a vaccine. With your Verify, I'm Stephen Goen.
State of Oklahoma is scheduled to carry out its first execution of the year tomorrow. Death row inmate Wendell Grissom. He's an Arkansas native who was convicted in the 2005 murder of Amber Matthews during a home invasion. Grissom's request to be spared from execution was denied by the state pardon and parole board last month. The execution set for 10 tomorrow morning at the state penitentiary there in McAllister.